What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today is my preview of the upcoming game, the Washington Commanders versus the LA Chargers. A game that Washington could possibly win. What we saw last week from the Giants, I think Washington can mimic that. Now, I know that there's so many times you hear the phrase a copycat league, but what I'm starting to recognize and see now is that it's not as copycat as people try to make it out to be. There's a lot of times that you see teams will beat another team in a manner that is like so crazy, but yet you don't see the teams coming in after that trying that same exact thing. A la the Atlanta Falcons, like the fact that Washington didn't try to do some of what Carolina did. But now you have another blueprint on how to beat this team. They're having offensive line issues. That's a big deal. They're down both of their starting tackles. You're talking about Rashawn Slater went out before the season, and then all of a sudden Joe Alt moves from the right side to the left side. He's now dealing with an injury, and he's more than likely going to be out. So there's a massive opportunity right now to sit up there and take advantage of the Chargers while they're down. I think Washington can get it done. The thing about it is that we need the front line, the defensive line, and all their defensive linemen to have big impact games in this game. They can do exactly against the Chargers what they did against the Raiders. And not only that, you can probably see they can probably get a lot of pressure off of the edge, especially with both of their tackles down. So you're in a situation where Washington can snatch a win. Washington can go to LA and snatch a win. Now, is it going to be hard to go from east to west? Yes, it is. Because that flight going there and dealing with the time change, that causes a problem. That messes with your body. So it's one of those things that it can really mess with you as well. The game will be a 4 o'clock game, like 4:25 or something like that. So it's an evening game on the East Coast and a 1 o'clock game on the West Coast. So there will be things to deal with, and that can happen. Like I said again, Washington has an opportunity to win this game. Here's the downside to this game. I think we will be without Terry McLaurin again. Like, I think Terry McLaurin will more than likely be out probably for the next 2 more games. I don't think he's coming back earlier than that. Another thing is that, we just signed Robbie Golden, who used to be Robbie Anderson. But I don't see the benefit of having him there. And we're starting to see more at how tough negotiations can get your team in a world of problems and in a world of trouble, because of the fact that there were things that could have been done with this team, and instead of just keeping pieces together, you chose to go in a different direction. And with going in that different direction, it kind of feels like the team is a little stagnant right now. I understand that the numbers are saying that Washington is number 2 when it comes to rushing, but when you think about it, those numbers are very skewed, especially when you think about how much they're throwing the ball versus how much they're running the ball. So, of course, if you have guys who have a 30-something yard rush, and then you have another guy who has a 15-yard rush, and you have another guy who has a 12-yard rush, And then you go back and you have another guy, he rushed for 7 yards. Then the guy comes back and he rushed for 7 yards. He rushed for 7 yards. Then the guy comes back and he rushed for 9. But you threw the ball 30 times. How does that skewers the numbers because of the fact that it looks like you're a better rushing team when in actuality you're really not? And to me, I think that the running game is the reason why the passing game and the offense is stagnant at this point. I mean, everybody could say what they want to say. I tell you, I'll say it again and I'll keep saying it. Running back by committee doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Because, again, you're not only putting pressure on the offense, you're also putting pressure on the offensive line to understand each guy's preferred way of coming through a hole. Or they got to figure out, which guy is back there, what is his ticks? Will he like to kick out more? And if he kicks out more, does that mean that the offensive lineman on the end needs to block down because he knows he's going to kick out? Now you got 3 different guys to try to figure that out with. Not the best thing to do, but this is not going to be an easy game. The Chargers defense is pretty stacked. But again, I do think we can take advantage of the team. I think we can take advantage of them. And we have to make this game a low-scoring game. Not only that, you got to find a way and hope and pray that Jim Harbaugh keeps Justin Herbert in the game. Because if you can get the pressure on Justin Herbert, then that tells you that you have an opportunity that Justin Herbert will make mistakes. We saw it in the Giants game. He threw 2 picks in the Giants game because everything was sped up. I will also say this. One of my fears in this game is that Jim Harbaugh, because understand this, Jim Harbaugh is using Trey Lance in practice to mimic Jayden Daniels. Understand that's what Jim Harbaugh is doing. They're using Trey Lance to mimic Jayden Daniels. And their builds and stuff are kind of similar. Trey's probably, I think, a little bit bigger weight-wise than Jayden. But even with that, you're still talking about the ability to mimic that. My concern is that if they bench Justin Herbert and Trey Lance comes in, we might have a problem. Because unlike Justin Herbert, who is a scrambler, he's not quite the runner that Trey Lance is. And Trey Lance can be a devastating guy. Which means that we can mess around and see a game where Jayden Daniels is working a lot with his legs, and then on the other end, we're dealing with Trey Lance using his legs to make things happen. So, and he can throw. And he actually can throw. So, this is a game that's going to be tough. I do think that Washington can pull the game out. I do think that our corners can actually stick with the Chargers receivers and actually possibly shut them down. Like, I think 1 for 1, they can actually do that. Like, I do feel that Marshawn Lattimore can shut down Keenan Allen. I think that Trey Amos can shut down Quentin Johnston. And I think that Mikey Sanders can shut down Ladd McConkey. So with that, I do feel that Washington has the best opportunity and the best chance to win this game. But it's not going to be an easy game. It may be closer than what we think. Maybe not even too close for comfort, but it will be close. I do feel that their defense is better than ours. But we don't have the offensive line issues that they currently have. So we might be able to get around that and actually play to an extent. Now, if they start blitzing, we might have an issue because even though Chris Paul and Andrew Wiley are good in the run game, in the passing game, we seen guys blow right past them. So we got to find out what that is that's going to help, that's not going to harm us in this game, especially with either getting them some help, which we can't rely on Bill to do. And that's another thing. Teams are starting to telegraph our plays already. Because Bill is not great in the passing game when it comes to pass protection, they already know that when he comes in the game, it's going to be a run. And that right there is an element that, again, for everybody who wanted Brian Robinson gone, that was an element that teams couldn't key in on with him and Austin Eckler. Why? Because him and Austin Eckler were both runners and could come out the backfield and catch the ball. They could be just a big play thing in the backfield and on all the down. So first, second, and third down, that was Brian Robinson. Also, Austin Eckler, first, second, and third down. That could actually happen. And because we don't have that dynamic, that ability for a guy to be in for 3 downs, and a guy who's not super great doing something else, well, we got these specialist guys, it's going to be a problem. So, but again, I do feel that we have an opportunity to win this game. Now, I will say this. Our defensive line isn't as great as the Giants. When you think about the pressure, the speed, the ability, the talent, they're better than our front guys. Our front guys need to show up and show up big in this game. Deron Payne, Eddie Goldman, Javon Kinlaw needs to take up blockers. They need to take up a lot of blockers. Jerzon Newton, Johnny Newton, like what's going on with him? I mean, like I really haven't heard his name these past 3 games. Like, I haven't really seen him make any type of real impact. I don't know if he's really playing or what it is, but it doesn't seem like he's playing that much. Or if he is playing, he's not making that big of an impact. So that's something we got to look out for. Jordan McGee, what they drafted him. If any of y'all followed me from my draft series, they drafted him. I didn't think that they should have drafted him. I said that they should have went with another linebacker, which I thought, which was Jalen Ford. But with that being said, I'm concerned that Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner doesn't come off the field. Like, they just do not come off the field. And I think that that's also leading into why Frankie Louvu seems to not be making the impact that he was year 1. So, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's happening. They need to do something because, like I said, Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu is on the field way too much. It's too much for them to have to take on so much pressure, and then as the game goes on, not see them as being more worn down than anybody else on the field because they never come off. So, like I said, I do feel that we can possibly win this game. It's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a tight game. I'm going to say this score. We got to stop the run as well. Like, that needs to be key number 1. Like, you cannot let anything go out of it. You got to stop this run. Because Amarion Hampton can get up to speed and be problematic in this game. You got to be able to stop the run. You have to. And if they stop the run, if their defensive line and everybody on it does a fantastic job against this team, pass rush and stopping the run, we win this game 30-27. The Commanders come out 30-27 on the Chargers if they sit up there and the defensive line does their job. Y'all tell me what y'all think. How do y'all feel about that? How do y'all feel even about the offense? Here we are. We're going to have another game. No Terry McLaurin. How do y'all feel about what's happening in the season? Are y'all a little bit teetering off thinking that we will get Jayden Daniels back, but guess what? The Chargers have a Jayden Daniels person Jayden Daniels got to impersonate him in practice. So we'll see how this goes, but I do got the Commanders 30-27 in a game that's going to be really, really tight all the way to the end. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Other than that, this has been your man John Fortune, and it's been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.